Rosemead Savannah Memorial Park, the resting place of some of the area's first pioneers, recently gained preliminary California Historical Landmark status to help preserve the graveyard, which has been in use since 1846. For many people, including those whose ancestors are buried here, it's a vital piece of their past.
But it's in my blood. I remember coming here when I was just a little kid, and all these old traditions are just, going away. It's sad.
For many people, including those whose ancestors are buried here, it's a vital piece of their past.
And in approximately 1846, Henry Dalton owned the San Francisco land grant, which was all of this property. And he was riding his horse, and this is handed down verbally. Then he found two graves over by a cactus stand. He left them alone, and then he dedicated 2 acres of property for a graveyard.
The cemetery features many prominent figures of the past, including Civil War soldiers.
We have veterans here. We have a drummer boy from the War of 1812. We have Confederate soldiers as well as Union soldiers that came after the Civil War and settled in El Monte.
It's also a place where locally prominent figures are buried.
T.J. Wiggins. My father was the chief of police in El Monte and served from 1926 to 1956. Involved in a couple of major events, especially a
Excuse me,
bank
I thought
robbery.
they were supposed to leave some water on.
They should have left that valve on. I'll go check.
They didn't.
He was involved in a major shootout in a bank robbery in El Monte in 1936. 2 people were killed, not police officers.
For the volunteers of the El Monte Cemetery Association, which runs the cemetery, the countless hours of dedication are well worth it.
Most of my family have served on that board. My mother served on the board. Tom and Clara Wiggins served on the board. So there was a lot of feeling about the cemetery. There was a lot of respect for the dead, not only the war dead, but the others. It's a natural thing. And this is my great-grandfather. And real quickly, it says Grandma over there. That's Ann Clifton Wiggins. She was a widow. She brought her children in a wagon train all the way here.
And what year was that?
Well, they started in 1849, and they came across the San Gabriel in November 1852.
And where were they coming from?
From Kentucky, Missouri, because most of the wagon trains formed up. It took them that long because they stopped in Texas for a period of time, and then joined with another train. One of the captains of that train was Nathaniel Weiss, and Nathaniel Weiss is the founder of Visalia, California. That's my great, I get all these greats. It's my great-great-grandfather. And he's not buried here because he was killed in a tornado in Texarkana, Arkansas, I think it was. But he was a bear hunter. I mean, he was literally out of the Wild West. Grandma's here. And then, of course, you'll see the Weiss name in some places. Ellen Wiggins right here was a Weiss. She married Thomas Jefferson. You'll see that she was born in 1842. Thomas Jefferson said, "I'm going to marry you," on the wagon train. She's only 10 years old. He waited until I think it was 1861 and they got married. And then they had eight children. Families were big back then. Most of the time the Wigginses had 4 or more brothers in the family. So they're all here.